Hi everyone, welcome back. We are here with yet another SwiftUI tutorial to tutorial you into making SwiftUI apps with Swift Playgrounds. One day I'll figure out what I'm actually here to do. Let's get started. We're going to make an actual app with what we learned about Swift in the previous series of videos. What we'll be making is this jokes app. It's going to be showing you all these cool dad jokes, and you'll be learning about layout. You'll be learning more about structs. You'll have a feature where you show and hide a punchline, and then you're going to use arrays to loop your jokes back to the beginning. And after that, we're going to improve on it. We're going to make Jokes App Pro Max 13.5. I don't know. We will use some new SwiftUI features that we haven't seen before, like presenting an alert, making a sheet. I have to pronounce that word very carefully. Making a sheet, importing more images, and going further with animations. So let's get started. Here's a quick demo of what your Jokes app would look like. You're going to have a joke on the screen. You're going to tap a button, and it will show you the punchline. Afterwards, you're going to ask the user whether they like the joke. If they like the joke, you give them a happy expression. If they didn't like the joke, you give them a angry expression. Is this actually angry? I have no idea. I can't see myself as I'm recording. So, all right. So let's give this a try, and we're going to head over into Swift Playgrounds. So open up Swift Playgrounds. Today we're in light mode, and we're going to make a new app. New app. And as always, I'm going to rename it. Right, there are two places to rename it. You have to tap and hold on this and rename this to Jokes app. And when you're done, press done. Tap on it again. And you probably also want to do this at the very beginning. Right, tap on the sidebar and change the name of your app over here to Jokes app real quick. You'll notice that Swift Playgrounds actually gives you an icon by default. We've talked about this before, and you can change the accent color. Now, I guess I want to point out right here that these icons are great, but Apple will not let you publish your app using one of these default icons. And I think that makes sense, right? You don't want your app store to be riddled with all kinds of combinations of this particular icon in different colors and all meaning different things. So these are, nice placeholder icons for you to use, but you should probably go create your own custom icon, whether it's your face or something else that you design in some app. That's up to you, right? But for now, we're not publishing this app. It is still good to create a nice icon for it, so it's easy to recognize back in your home screen. So I'm going to press done right here and close off my sidebar. All right. Now, what we're going to do first is we're going to lay out our app. And for this part, let me just quickly sketch out what I think the app will look like. And I'd like you to pause and use all your amazing knowledge of stacks, vertical stacks and buttons and stuff like that, right? That you've gleaned from some amazing instructor somewhere, who knows where. And I'd like you to do that first. Okay, so let me draw it out on my screen. So on my screen, you're going to be able to see this is what the app looks like. Okay, and you're going to have some text, right? This line of text over here, we're going to call this the setup. So for this, maybe you can put something like, why did the chicken cross the road, right? Just a classic joke. Ha ha ha, hilarious. All right. Over here, maybe you can have a little button. Right, this button can say, tell me, pardon my handwriting. And what happens is when someone taps on this button, you're going to show them the punchline, which is down here. Okay, so this is the setup, and this is the punchline. And down here, maybe in slightly smaller text, you can have the words tap to continue. Okay, and we're going to figure out how these things show up on screen initially and what sort of interactions they have with one another later on. But first thing you need to do is please help me lay out these 4 things on the screen using a stack view, 3 text elements, and 1 button. All right, so pause the video right now and give it a try. Okay, we're back. Did you manage to do it? Let me show you how I did mine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring back my preview, which went away when I opened my preferences. And I realize I already have a VStack and a text. So let's keep those. Let's get rid of the image. Okay. And this is going to be my setup. So this one's going to say, why did the chicken cross the road? This is hilarious. Next, we need a button. Okay. And for a button, let's type in the word button. If you remember how a button works, we have button followed by an action and then a label, right? So we're going to type button, open curly brace. And if you remember what we talked about in the last series of videos, these two are closures. These are chunks of code, right? The first chunk of code is what the button does. The second chunk of code, which is label, is what the button is. Let me repeat that all over again. The first chunk of code is what the button does. The second chunk of code is what the button is. So what does the button do? Right now, it doesn't have to do anything. I'm just going to make it print something, right? Print button tapped. Okay. And down here, we're going to add the label. And we're going to say, well, let's put a text in here that says, tell me, exclamation mark. Okay. Notice it takes on the accent color that we chose. And this is good enough for now. Maybe we'll spruce it up a bit later. I'm going to go on and add the next piece of text, which says text. This is the punchline. Why did the chicken cross the road? To get to the other side. Sorry. To get to the other side. Okay. And afterwards, we just need one more piece of text, which just says tap to continue. Okay. This looks pretty terrible. So I'm just going to add in some modifiers. Over here, padding. Okay, great. Over here, maybe some padding for the entire button. Okay, the entire button has some padding above and below it. Remember, this padding over here, this modifier, is not part of the tappable area. Okay, we're going to add some modifiers to the text to make it part of the tappable area. So I'm going to say dot padding to this. We're going to give it a background color, dot background, bracket, dot blue, and maybe dot foreground color, dot white. Okay, looks good to me. Next, I'm going to go down to my text over here and give it some padding as well. And finally, for tap to continue, I want to make it, a little bit smaller in size. I'm going to say dot font, dot, let's take a look, maybe dot caption, right? Dot caption is a little bit smaller, okay? And it just emphasizes that this is a bit less important than the rest of the text, okay? I'm going to make it italic, dot italic, and let's give it some padding as well. Okay, I think this looks good, right? I think this looks good. Feel free to style yours slightly differently. And one more thing. If you notice, now we have a lot of code, right? We've gotten to the point where our SwiftUI apps are going to get really long. What I like to do is I like to give them a little bit of space to breathe, right? So after the first view, after all its modifiers, just press return and you get a bit of space for it. After the second view, press return. After the third one, press return. And now it's a little bit easier to see which item is a distinct view and what all its modifiers are. Right? So this is a bit of a personal preference, but it's something that will help you when you are reading your code later on. Here's one more cool thing you can do. If you've ever used messaging apps that let you emphasize your text while typing them out, for example, in WhatsApp, if you type an asterisk around your text, it's going to highlight it somehow, right? So you can do that in your text labels as well. So let's take a look, right? So for example, if I want to highlight the word tell, I can type asterisk around it, and hey, check it out. It's now italics, okay? If you do a double asterisk, it'll be bold. Okay. What if you want bold and italic? Well, you can actually use an underscore instead of asterisk as well. So you can do one underscore and two asterisks to denote bold and italics. So what I want to do is I want this entire chunk of text to be bold and italics. So I'm just going to move this thing over here. Okay, and now it's, whole bunch of emphasis right here, right? This is a markup format called Markdown, which you might have seen in other apps. Like I said, WhatsApp, I think Telegram has it as well. And you can find out more by searching for the word Markdown online. Okay, I think that's it for our very first video. Come back soon for more jokes and stuff. Look at this amazing joke. It's amazing. See you. Bye.